Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We have seen that the political system all over the world is full of chicanery, full of double dealing and selfish interests, whether it's India or Canada, whether it's USA or UK, France or Australia or anywhere. Selfishness supersedes everything. And in parliamentary democracy, one new factor, rather it's not new, it's an old one, seems to be preponderant, and that is people shift their allegiances from one party to another. Normally, when you join a party, you join it for its ideology and you adhere to that ideology. But when you leave that party to join another party for becoming a minister, getting the plum office, then it's not adherence or loyalty to the ideology. It is the ideology of self, not of service. And India, we have seen, has been a victim, the Indian population, of this chicanery, this shame and can for a long time. But is it always the inner party maneuvering? Is it always that the people leave a party only for the selfish purposes? Or is it because there are genuine differences of opinion and you leave the party as an expression of your protest? India was so much of convulsed with the people coming in and going out of the party. And what happened in India, Northeast one, where the complete party headed by the premier, chief minister is called premier in India, shifted from one party to another. And overnight the government changed from controlled by one political party to another political party. This trend was seen in the times of Madam Gandhi as well. Haryana was a state where such political maneuvering was the order of the day, and Haryana became notorious for leading the country in that. Bhajanlal was the chief minister, premier, as we call in Canada, and when Mrs. Gandhi became the prime minister, he became the Congressite and with his complete party joined Congress and continued as the chief minister, now representing the Congress ideology. There was and then a popular proverb came up, Ayaram, Gayaram. So they are coming and they are going. Aya is coming, Gaya is going. Every day they will be shuffling. So in the times of Rajiv Gandhi, an act was passed saying that if you leave the party and the people who leave it are less than one third of the party, other party means the legislature party, then it will be deemed a defection and they lose their membership of the legislative assembly or parliament, thereby losing the possibility of becoming the minister or having any other filthy lucre. Not too bad. And now comes an interesting part. For the first time in India, in the state of Rajasthan, a case has been registered against the people who wanted to leave the party, including the deputy premier, for sedition under Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code. This is as old as the Indian Republic, in contrast to the Anti-Defection Act, which came into the Constitution, became a law 35 years back only. And that was a constitutional amendment to fasten the loyalty of the MPs and MLAs elected in the party to remain as loyal members by force. Now, if dissension and difference of opinion supposed to destabilize the government is considered sedition, treachery to the country, India would have seen thousands of such cases starting in 67, ending in 71 when the emergency was proclaimed. So after Congress lost many state governments in India, they set up a panel under the Home Minister at that time, Chavan. And the Chavan government gave its report, that 1969 report stated that as many as 116 defecting MLAs became ministers in the new government. That was at that time. Now it would not be 100, it will be 1,000 something odd. Anyway, the point is why the defections and why not the defections. Churchill was a member of the Conservative Party. To become the Prime Minister, he joined Labour. Labour were defeated. To continue as Prime Minister, he again became a Conservative. And then again became a Labour leader. So this pendulum, and then that was Churchill, who is deemed to be an icon as far as the British system is concerned. But nobody blamed him for acting selfish manner. It was selfish. It was to continue as the Prime Minister that he changed his party thrice so that he can continue as the Prime Minister. Here in Canada, there was the Premier of Ontario, NDP Premier, and hopeful to become the Prime Minister, he left NDP, joined Liberal, became the acting leader. Unfortunately for him, the Liberal leaders decided, the moneyman, that the ad hoc leader shall not be entitled to contest the election. So after Michael Ignatieff resigned, after being defeated at the hustings, Bob Rae became the temporary leader. That was his misfortune. Otherwise, his hope was that the party would somehow or the other come around that there's nobody else and he'll become the Prime Minister of the country. So he became a leader, temporary leader. And then, as a reward for his turning coat, being a turncoat, leaving NDP to join Liberal, first he was made the special ambassador to Myanmar, and then now he's a ambassador to United Nations. Cabinet post at the center. So Canada is not immune from that. Earlier, Ujjal Dosanjh, NDP Premier of British Columbia, became a minister in the Liberal government as the Centre Health Minister under Paul Martin. So this is happening here as well. And you cannot say that this problem exists only in countries like India, which are pretty strong in democracy, as a matter of fact, much stronger than this country would be, where people have been asked to leave, where the strongest prime minister was defeated at the hustings, only for the reason that she had declared emergency, which she herself revoked. And if she had not revoked, nobody could have forced her to go. But then she, being a democratic in spirit, resigned herself. Anyway, so since it's there, let's study whether it's really a matter of selfishness or a dishonest expression of loyalty or an expression of definite difference of opinion. Everything is possible. I mean, say, I was amazed that in Arunachal Pradesh, Prema Kandu, who was the chief minister, walked with most Congress MLAs. What Bhajanlal had done in Haryana, he did in Arunachal Pradesh. So the Congress government in Arunachal became a BJP government. Similarly, coalition government of H.D. Kumaraswamy in Karnataka was brought down. But then nobody said that they are anti-national. No, this is the crux. Accepted without any doubt that you shift the loyalty primarily for the selfish reason. But to say that it is anti-national, it's sedition, it's treachery, is highly improper. Rajasthan established a special operation group, and it had the brainwave to register sedition charges against 19 MLAs, first trying to destabilize an elected government. Now, Supreme Court of India has very clearly said that sedition is an offense against the state, and the offending action must have the effect of subverting the government into by bringing the government into contempt or hatred, or creating dissensions against it, dissatisfaction, creating public disorder by actual violence and incitement to violence. Nowhere have these people said that we should indulge in violence. They said, well, we don't like the chief minister, we want to change the chief minister. So, in other words, what the Supreme Court meant was that the idea of subverting the government included in the term revolution would not be there. A revolution by itself is not something bad. But then a measure to change the government, whether for selfish purpose or with a purpose to improve it, definitely not sedition. You can call it immoral, you can call it unethical, but then the immorality or the morality and the ethics are not a part of politics. If politics was to be ethical, then we would not say that politics is the last refuge of a scoundrel. By the way, you know what parliament means. Parliament is, in fact, a collective noun for an assembly of baboons, not of intelligent people. Baboons are a sort of a monkey family. So, the comments by the legislators who are dissenting, who want to leave the party, can be very strongly worded, can be absolutely disapproving the actions of the government. But unless they call the public to revolt and indulge in violence, they are not penal. And then, it was not even defection, but then that's up to the court. My concern is that would sedition continue to be used as a political weapon in India? And if it happens in India, it can happen anywhere in the world. What prohibits the Justice Department in USA to say that Pelosi and Bernie Sanders have indulged in sedition? And as a matter of fact, the action of Obama and Iran deal, giving $2 billion cash, could have been deemed an act of sedition. The killing of the American ambassador in Benghazi could have been called, if not sedition, at least anti-national. But no, that was not done. Because the purpose was not to destroy the country. The purpose was to exploit your position for your and the party's interest. Not the national interest, of course, definitely not. But it was not even anti-national. What is happening in India is an extremely bad trend. Now, somebody asked me what would have happened had Mrs. Gandhi been the Prime Minister. I said by this time, the Chief Minister would have been thrown out. The centre would have used its constitutional power to say that there's a breakdown and order fresh elections. As a matter of fact, the ideal would be whenever the people defect in such a large number, the best thing is to impose federal law, bring in the constitutional right of the federal government, wind up that government, the provincial government, and ask the election commission to conduct an election in the next 6 months. This way, people would be wary of going into and revolting. A. B. The ruling faction would be careful not to annoy unnecessarily the others because they know that dissent can be very harmful. So, as a matter of fact, we can do not any longer accept that the political animals can be in any way moralistic, honest, dedicated. They are dedicated to themselves, but they can be made to be careful and they can be made to understand that in case they revolt, in case they want to break up the party, they'll have to face the people and the hosting. And that would be having a two-way effect. Both factions would know it, that going to the polls can be a very scary proposition for any politician. No politician wants to face the electorate until he or she is sure of winning. And politics is a game where you're never sure what might happen. All these opinion polls and everything are to prop up and have a propaganda value, a psychological value to impact the undecided voter to vote in a different manner. But primarily, people don't want to go to hosting. And if that action is done, situation will be much better. But to call it seditious, treacherous, anti-national is not only taking benefit of being in power, but by itself it is absolutely illegal, and the person who had this brainwave need to be punished for creating unnecessary burden on police. We have to be careful that even if unethical, certain norms have got to be observed. Here the norms have been given goodbye, and that is not acceptable. Think about it. Thank you.